Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all for being here, and thank you for your patience. I know the hall is quite hot, and I'm sure that the studio lights aren't making it any colder. I have requested that the AC be turned on, so please bear with us. I'm not going to talk for too long. I just wish to introduce the speakers, and I want to now just give you a brief idea as to who we're going to have speaking here today. They're all here in the front row. The first to speak actually will be me, because I'm reading out a letter from a speaker who couldn't be here. And that's Imam Yahya Pallavicini from Italy. Sadly, he's engaged in what he calls Italian business, so he can't come. And I'm going to read a letter he sent out for us all here, and that should only take about 3 or 2 minutes. After that, I want to introduce Dr. Ghiasuddin Siddiqui, who's here for us to speak for 5 minutes on the topic of the need to rid ourselves of Islamism. I'll be introducing each speaker as they come, a brief sort of history as to who they are. And after Dr. Ghiasuddin Siddiqui, Dr. Osama Hassan will also be speaking. After Dr. Osama Hassan, we have a video recording from Lord Paddy Ashdown. He apologizes he couldn't make it as well. He ended up having another commitment outside of the country, but he has recorded a video message for the Quilliam Foundation, and I'm sure that that will be sufficiently entertaining for us. After the video message from Lord Paddy Ashdown, we have Sheikh Abdul Aziz al-Bukhari, who's come from Jerusalem. He's the head of the Sufi Naqshbandi order there. After Sheikh Abdul Aziz Bukhari, we have Professor Timothy Garton-Ash to speak. He's come all the way from Cambridge to speak. After Professor Timothy Garton-Ash, we have a lady, a very brave and courageous lady, Rachel North, a 7/7 survivor. After Rachel, Dr. Musharraf Hussain. After Dr. Musharraf Hussain, Jemima Khan. After Jemima Khan, Dr. Ali As-Saleh, who's from Ireland. After Dr. Ali As-Saleh, we have somebody from the States, Arslan Iftikhar. And finally, we have a speaker from Denmark who's got a surprise speech to give to us here, and that's Muhammad Ali He. I'd like just to read out the letter from Imam Pallavicini for you all. And before I do so, just to give you a brief idea as to who Imam Pallavicini is. Imam Yahya Sergio Yahi Pallavicini is an Italian citizen. This was not written by me. Who was born a Muslim to a Japanese mother and an Italian father. He's a man whose funniest line I've heard him say is that he's too busy to come because he has 4 wives, not as a Muslim, but as an Italian. And he did actually say that. I'm not making it up. But yes, he's a member of the Italian Ministry for the Interior's Council on Islam. He's also been an ambassador to the Vatican. And he's an imam of Al-Wahid Mosque in Milan. And his speech, I'm going to read out. I think it's a very powerful and potent message he sent to us here today, a message of support for the Quilliam Foundation. And I won't bore you too long, so I'll just continue now with the speech, and then we'll move on to the next speaker. In the name of God, the most merciful, dear Maajid Nawaz, Ed Hussein, dear ladies and gentlemen, and the Quilliam Foundation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me greet you all with the traditional wishes of peace and blessings that our beloved Prophet Muhammad taught us, and that are part of our way of living according to the principles for love, justice, and sacred knowledge. I had the occasion to meet Ed Hussein less than a month ago, during a workshop organized by the World Economic Forum. A week later, I met Maajid Nawaz in Vienna. On both occasions, I was surprised to share with both of them a common engagement, trying to avoid the confusions between the true identity of Islamic spirituality, doctrine, and civilization, and between the interpretations of some individuals that forget or ignore the sacred principles of our religion and teachings and believe that Islam and Muslims are what they are not. Our responsibilities in trying to learn and live and teach according to the holy examples of the prophets and the masters of sacred wisdom of all times is increasingly difficult due to the nature of mankind that seems not to be able to understand the true dimension of any religion and traditional way of living in contemporary times. This lack of comprehension leads some persons to believe in a secular society as a new religion and to have a negative approach towards any believer that are all considered to be irrational or violent. Last century, the Nazi regime believed itself to be the new divine kingdom for humanity, and the communist regime wanted to oppose a world without any faith in God. Anti-Semitism and Islamophobia are some evident consequences of this intellectual crisis and spiritual decadence, as well as, in more recent times, the radical movements that use religion as an emotional weapon, trying to promote a social revolution with a dream of a new world order, a new worldly utopia with a vision of religion based on bigotry and no spiritual guidance. The Quilliam Foundation can help overcome these misleading tendencies by creating a European network of young Muslim intellectuals who have the sensitivity and the skills to inform the civil society on the true universal values and virtues of every man and woman living in contemporary society in an open, critical, and proactive way. I didn't write this, he did, I can assure you. Islamic civilization has nothing to do with ghettos, local habits, foreign policies, honor killings, gender discrimination, apologetic ideologues, narrow-minded slogans, hatred, criminality, or terrorism. But it is not enough to say all of this unless we all engage in the renewal of knowledge, education, and communication, starting by clearly separating the confusion of religion with the management of this world, with radical political strategies and with the extremist agenda. In order to help Muslims live as believers and as qualified citizens in the West, we need to avoid this misleading use of Islam and that some Muslims are trying to propose to our sons and daughters. We need to study together new ways and answers to face the challenges of life in these times and places according to a better knowledge and development of the intellectual qualities each one of us has. We need to recover the spirit of our tradition, rediscovering the correct intentions and goals of a religious dimension of existence that can be practiced with harmony in all times and places. We have the duty to preserve our tradition from the manipulations and the contaminations of our sacred doctrine, and the Quilliam Foundation can work with success in this field, avoiding any compromise with those persons who pretend to act in the name of God, but do not believe in His mercy, His love, or His order. I've been invited to participate in the launch of this initiative, and I'm sorry not to be able to be with you in London due to my institutional responsibilities. That's the Italian business he's involved in Italy. I express my hopes and my support to the Quilliam Foundation and to Ed and Maajid, as you really deserve. I trust we'll have future occasions to cooperate, God willing. Best wishes and regards, Imam Yahya Pahlavi.